Greetings, listeners. Does this sound like you? You don't know what to watch next? Mindlessly scrolling down one streaming service, then another, and another, only to end up watching the same episodes of The Office you've seen 1,000 times? Not to worry. We here at the Half-Ass Podcast Network got you covered. Because we also know what the fuck we're watching next. Our next movie is always a mystery, always unknown. It's always to be determined.
Hell yeah.
That's right. We let TUBI determine what we watch next, and you should too.
Goddamn right.
So pour your beverages, pop your popcorn, and come along on a journey with us where our destinations are always to be determined. Welcome back to another episode of To Be Determined. I am the Baja Blaster. And with me, as always, is my partner in crime, Drinks of Ron. Ron, what are you sipping on some more tonight?
Well, we are going into part 2. And as I mentioned in part 1, I'm not supposed to be drinking a lot of sugars. So I went to the liquor store totally intending to buy another bottle of bourbon because drinking straight bourbon on the rocks doesn't give you a lot of sugars. And I'm avoiding sugars, well, you know why.
Why is that, Ron?
Well, it's because of the diabetes.
Hi, I'm Wilford Brimley.
So I'm trying not to drink beer.
When you first find out from your doctor, when you first find out from your doctor, when you first find
sometimes
out from your doctor, you got diabetes.
You just got to drink 15 blats.
Diabetes.
Oh, diabetes.
Now, I mentioned I'm the Baja Blaster, and there's a reason why I'm the Baja Blaster.
Yeah.
I felt left out with the Mikey K episode that we will be recapping soon. You and Mikey K, we're drinking some Baja Blast, originally from Taco Bell, now made into cans, thank God. And I put a little bit of vodka in here, so I am now I am now blasting my Baja. And
careful where you do that.
I have mentioned in our Discord chat a long time ago, or actually a couple weeks ago now, about music that would be not better without the lyrics, but you could deal without the lyrics. And I'm going to go with Amadeus will be one of those songs. Don't give a shit about the lyrics at all, but that beat on Amadeus, again, works well with diabetes too.
I'm a tumor.
Exactly, that works too. Just give me that beat, though. I'm good to go. I'll vibe out to that beat.
Yeah, so 80s, man. So fucking 80s. Belongs on TUBI.
So let's say, speaking of 80s and TUBI, let's talk about TUBI. But we are recapping our first season. We are in part 2 of season 1.
We're doing what?
We are doing a recap, Ron.
Oh my God. I wish I had a sound. Wait, what's that? I do have a sound effect for that? Jesus Christ.
I think it's just about time for a recap. Looking at the opportunities that we have placed you on the episode, it will be good to look back. So that's why this is a recap. This is a recap.
God damn, it feels good to recap. I'm going to recap so hard.
Here's a guy who loves to recap.
Boom! Look at that.
So for you folks keeping score at home, we recap the first 12 episodes of our first season. Again, we talked about the movies we watched, where we have some grievances we had to air. And we're not going to do any grievances in the second part of this because we've already aired those out. We're going to just mainly focus on the recaps. And then we were going to talk about some possible ideas going into season 2 of what we can possibly think about doing for next season. But again, if you're keeping score at home, we try to keep a ranking system here based off popcorn, but also based on what TUBI suggested we do for them, and that's liking stuff, which we found out again according to our grievances
doesn't matter.
Doesn't fucking matter.
Doesn't fucking matter.
But to go off their ranking system and their way of telling us of what we should like, we kept a little tally here. I like 10 of the 17 movies that I watched on TUBI for the first half of the season. You liked 8 of your 12 movies, Ron, which is a very good percentage.
Fuck yeah.
And then our guest had 4 to 7. Not bad. So does that trend keep up on the second half of season 2? Do our minutes go up? Do we have watch longer movies?
I am interested to find all this out. I do want to know.
Let's find out by doing some more recapping.
Fuck yeah.
So bad news for this trend keeping up here, because episode 13, we started getting some doozies here. Ron, you got, again, this is the second Chevy Chase movie we had in season 1. Your Chevy Chase movie was not nearly as good as mine, apparently, with Cops and Robertsons.
Oh, yeah.
And again, this is where we talked about the grievance. This is where my algorithm really gets screwed up. And I had the movie Phony.
Oh, man.
And for you boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen who are listening at home and keeping score, again, this movie was about a guy who creates a fake documentary that wasn't a fake documentary, that was a real documentary, but wouldn't have been a real movie. I don't know. It's a movie inside of a movie inside of a movie. It's a third level Inception shit about pretty much sleeping with women, saying you can do whatever you want. And again, he is a big fat phony.
You're a phony.
It really screwed my algorithm up going forward about, again, we've mentioned our movies being pervy before, but when you get a movie when that's the whole premise is sleeping with women as a lie, you really get into the perviness of what Tubi is going to push for you.
And you know what that means.
And I'm curious, Ron, is this where... Wait, hold on. Was that Mr. Pants?
Yeah.
A cat is a drink. That is a very rare audible cat on the podcast.
That is fucking true. Thank you, buddy. I'm kind of worried.
Really?
Might be.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know if it was Mr. Pants or, like, I never noticed the end of that sounder had cats.
A cat built in. Yeah.
I had no idea. I was like, wait, was that Mr. Pants, or has there always been a sounder with the cat at the end of it? Would you say this is like clean Chevy, so that's why it also wasn't as good?
Well, I think he's one of those guys that's fine in a clean role. Maybe even better than fine. I think he might even excel clean. But
I think you're misinterpreting my clean thing.
Oh, okay. I got you. No, that feels right, honestly. Because he is playing a clean suburban dad, but I think not being totally geeked, you can feel it.
Because I'm gonna go with that's kind of how he is in Christmas Vacation. He's got to be geeked, but he's playing the clean dad who wants a family vacation.
Right. He's taken it down a couple of notches from what he's probably out Hoover and Schneef in the garage. And as a old family guy approaching Christmas, I don't know anything about that. But yeah, you can feel it kind of in the energy of the role. Not that if he had been cooked out of his gourd, he would have been more effective. Maybe he would have. I don't know. Jack Palance is really the guy who carries this movie, and I think they build it 20% around him smoking. Like he does the bit where he flips the cigarette into his mouth, and when she tries to take it, and it's just 20% of the whole movie is tied to him with his own hand-rolled cigarettes. So,
and hold on, I forgot about this. This is our first episode where we didn't do our normal algorithm. I forgot about that.
Oh,
this is the episode we asked Twitter. You asked your daughter. I asked Twitter.
Oh, yes.
For a word. Yeah, I totally forgot that. Just now reminded me, because again, you mentioned about a bagel.
The bagel for sure.
Yes. So we asked Twitter, again, you asked your daughter for a word, just a word. And again, like in most OSC fashion, people questioned it of what I'm asking.
What are you doing?
Just answer instruction.
Just not hard. So
just like the algorithm we want you to do, hit like or dislike.
Yeah.
It's just one thing to do. Just give me
say
word.
one fucking word. Why is that like? No, they won't stand in a line.
Oh man, it might be a callback, or I don't know when it's gonna fall back, but you'll get the joke eventually.
Yeah, it will. It will be by then.
No, again, yikes. Been a great contributor to this podcast. He tweeted out the word to me, fuck. So I got the word fuck, and that's where phony came in. Again, it ties perfectly because it's about movie about fucking people.
That's fair.
And you got bagel, and again, yours worked. We didn't realize it at first until like midway through the review.
Until into my own review. Like when I did the notes, I didn't catch it. Yeah, literally in the review, I'm like, wait a minute. The bagel is a central plot point. It literally defines the moment he decides to be a man and take control of his, like, holy shit, bagel. Like, all right, maybe this algorithm, like, it can't discern using things that I said that I like as a sign that I like it. But if I say bagel, it'll find a movie with a bagel plot point.
And you were scared because bagel, apparently, according to Tubi, sounds an awful lot like Seagal.
Steven Seagal. Yes. There was four Seagal movies in there, and I'll be honest, I left a couple of them off the fucking wheel because I was like, 4's too many. 4's tempting fucking fate, and 6 is not fucking happening on my watch.
And coming up soon, there's a reason why, and I truly agree why you should feel scared, because there's a reason why you should feel scared. Because once you watch a Seagal movie, it's going to suggest those things to you.
Forever.
And
and ever.
In a few episodes, we'll get into why that concern is validated because of what
dislike
happened later.
doesn't matter. Dislike it all you want, you dumb dick.
So we both hit dislike in these movies. Again, I guess this will be our, it was kind of goes without saying, what we just did here. We talked about it. But then we get into another movie where we didn't use our normal algorithm. So we did back-to-back movies and not using our algorithm.
Oh, okay.
And we got into a theme of this episode 14, because it was just around the time of 4th of July. So our Independence Day. We figured let's have fun with that.
It was.
And put that into our algorithm. Someone put, I forgot who, I'm pretty sure you put Independence in your
I did
algorithm.
2 things. I did Independence Day and July 4th. I took 8 from each search.
Okay.
So I was thorough.
I did something, I think I did something similar too. I forgot which ones I did. But yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I said that was obvious, because you got Independent Day.
Yes.
T
spelled totally different.
As in Accounting's Day, and you were getting your tax returns.
Oh no, I put in Apocalypse.
Oh yes,
that was the other one. Yeah, because I'll be honest, I was trying to get Pasta Apocalypse, which is an Adult Swim Tubi original about a guy who turns into pasta and tries to take over the world. I didn't get it.
And I got An American Carol. And we had a guest.
Oh, yes.
We had Troy, not drinks to run, your drinks to run. Troy, the drinker of the group, technically, who drank.
The godfather of drinks.
Godfather of drinks, who drank 2 bars in Wisconsin at a Bud Light.
Oh, my God, he did. I was so embarrassed. Like, what are you fucking people doing? Like, you were literally.
Were you embarrassed for Wisconsin? Were you embarrassed for Wisconsin?
Well, yes.
Okay.
I thought about sending.
Troy.
I thought about sending a note to the governor, because it was like, what are we doing here?
You had sent me something the other day, yesterday on Instagram, or 3 weeks ago, according to when this episode comes out. The top 12 drunkest cities in America.
Yes.
10 of them are in Wisconsin.
Yes. I've lived in 2 of them. Yeah.
I've been to 3 or 4 of them myself too. Like I'm fully. My sister lived in Eau Claire, so on number 2, I think, is on the list is Eau Claire.
I've been drunk in a fountain in Eau Claire. Yes.
Yeah. So it's I can attest to Wisconsin being a heavy again.
Yes.
On our way to Oktoberfest, we went to a brewery And from the brewery, I grabbed 2 Smirnoff Ice cans and drank them in the car because everywhere sells alcohol, and we stopped to get some snacks. And of course,
that was in New Glarus, which did not make the list.
Right.
That's just another town with a big fucking brewery where you get hammered.
And again, where they only serve, or they don't sell it anywhere else besides Wisconsin. So again, when you leave that place, there's a chance you're not just leaving with just your car keys. You're leaving with cases because that's the only place you can get it. So,
right, load up.
So again, we went with the theme of 4th of July, Independence Day. Your movie was about, I want to say, not an alien invasion. I don't know.
It's about a bunch of fucking militia dicks.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of these "don't tread on me" assholes fighting back against the alien oppression. It was a piece of shit.
And mine was pretty much a Christmas Carol, but about Independence Day versus Christmas. It bills that it has Leslie Nielsen, and again, one of my favorites. But he's only a voiceover guy / he's in it for like 2 minutes tops. Yeah,
they did a bait and switch on you.
It starts off heavy with him in it, and I'm like, yes, this is where we got it. Him doing fucking shtick, love it. And
that frisbee bit,
the frisbee bit was perfect.
Yeah, like, yes, sounds great.
Keep calling back to that.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings me to my point that I liked it, but I am now changing it to a dislike because I hardly remember anything about it besides that, and I couldn't care less if I ever see it again.
Yeah, it's like I can't just give you a movie because you put Leslie Nielsen in it. Like, yeah, he's great, but you don't get a win.
So this would be our first clean sweep of a dislike.
Oh,
you disliked yours. I eventually now dislike mine, and Troy disliked his.
Definitely disliked his. His sounded like the worst of the bunch. Like, his had no redeeming qualities. Mine was so bad, it might be fun to watch. Like when the president walks outside and waves to nothing, and then they cut to like a big crowd that's clearly not at all affiliated with the movie.
Like my Robo Jocks crowd thing.
Yeah, it was like, here comes a lady stepping out of a fake UFO, and then there's like a shot of the National Mall, like filled with protesters, and like,
again, mine started off strong. Mine's a parody, obviously. So there's a lot to laugh at. It just falls short. Trace Atkins in it, and it's really, really bad.
Yeah, that's his second appearance on the pod here.
So again, I
like Joe's movie too.
Was he in that too?
Yes, he was in Joe's movie.
Oh, Jesus
that
Christ.
Piece of shit. But you also notice when you put in 4th of July or Independence Day, you get shitty right-wing movies.
Oh, it's right up the alley. So
right. So we call that a win for the algorithm. Like,
I'm glad this didn't skew our algorithm too far.
Oh, me too.
Really bad.
I would have been very upset.
Because we get back into our normal algorithm, or a logarithm, as some people might say. And you got a movie again that made me want to watch this, and so it's another movie that you reviewed that I wanted to watch and did watch. You got Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield.
Fuck yeah.
And then I got so I got Phony, and I'm glad, or I thought I was changing things up by doing American Carol and maybe fix my algorithm. Nope, because I go from that to when I get back to my original algorithm to Before Dawn. And this is the movie that has the teacher fucking the student.
Oh, yes.
And this is where my algorithm really gets skewed.
You got fucking hammered with this garbage.
And I refuse to put a lot of these movies on my wheel because I was tired of seeing them on my. It's just I didn't.
And you'll never get rid of them.
I don't like movies that have rape scenes. This has a rape scene in it. It's not important to the plot point at all. Just it's not. The acting is terrible in the movie. It's just like, but it skewed me way too far. Yeah, so I I wanted to watch yours, thank God, and I'm glad we. I did eventually watch yours. Eventually.
Free Shakespeare for everyone.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Go buy. Doesn't it say go buy some kids or something like that?
Yeah, he's trying to pay off the fucking cop from when he walks into a sorority house and right into the shower, as one does. When you're looking for your son, you walk right into the bathroom. So as he's bribing the cop on his way out, here's something for the kids. I don't have any kids. Hey, go buy yourself some kids. And
yeah, he's definitely doing shit the entire movie.
I mean, he wasn't trying to, but well, actually, he sees them. Then he's like, "Oh," but then he comes back. He's like, "They're perfect." Like,
yeah, right. Yeah, he walks away. Yeah.
He's not wrong. They are pretty fantastic.
They were good.
I appreciate. I'm a connoisseur of a titty, and let me tell you, they're pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got credentials. God damn it.
Almost in something that's not appropriate, so I'm not going to cut it out because I'm not going to say it. But episode 16 coming up next. We get another guest. We finally got all of our Outsider Social Club members on here. That means Coley's on the pod.
Yeah.
And again, my algorithm's skewed. I get the terrible movie Tony Danza of She's Out of Control. Coley got a movie that I know of people in sports film classes. They always show this movie because of what the symbolism is, what the story is. She got Love and Basketball with Omar Epps.
Oh,
and you got a movie that pops up all the time in my suggestions for horror movies of Serial Mom.
Oh shit, yeah. Yeah, because that last piece of shit movie that I reviewed gave me a heart attack. Independence Day crushed my fucking one of them valves or something.
Yeah, she's Out of Control. Was just an absolute dumpster fire of a dad being over controlling of his daughter who's blossoming and growing, and it's that stereotypical thing. And again, he's not a good actor if he's not on Who's Company or Three's Company or Who's the Boss or whatever show he was on.
Yeah.
Again, Three's or Who's the Boss? I know Three's Company's Ritter.
Oh, them jeans were tight in the 80s. You knew who your boss was. You could see your boss coming.
But yeah, I've had a lot of movies where it's about people controlling their daughter as well.
It comes up in my movie too.
That's okay. That might need to be added to the bingo card of controlling your sibling or your kids, mainly daughter.
Well, of course.
But Serial Mom, you absolutely loved, correct, Ron?
I did. I watched that fucker in the hospital with all the shit hooked up to me. Still had a goddamn something right in my wrist, heading to my fucking artery to my heart. And I watched a John Waters movie in the hospital. It was fucking fantastic. I mean, again, second John Waters, loved them both. This movie is just outrageous / campy. Fucking fantastic. Cannot recommend it highly enough.
Yeah, again, it pops up all the time on my list of when it's suggestions, oh, you should watch Serial Mom if you like horror movies, and I'm like, all right, cool, because it's not horror, it's that can be funny horror, right?
Right. Oh, she is killing the shit out of people, but yeah, right. Totally funny. And actually was off Tubi. I had to watch it on Netflix in my hospital bed. Most expensive review of the year. Cost me a
Ron, hit yourself the sounder for that. That's a good joke.
Yeah.
Good joke. There you go. That's a really good joke.
Fucking costly.
But we're
Man,
gonna move on.
You should have seen the look on the doctor's face when he got my blood test back. It was fucking amazing. I'd forgotten about the mushrooms. Totally forgotten about the mushrooms. I was like, oh my God, I took them too. Like, oh, he had to shit his pants when he got those results back. He's like, do you want me to tell everybody? I'm like, go ahead. Tell everybody in the room. I don't give a shit. Read those blood results. He did not. He did not read it for the room.
I mean, at the same time, he once he left the room, he told everyone.
Oh, my wife. He totally told my wife. He totally told her.
That was no longer a secret after that point.
Yeah. I was like, go ahead. I don't give two fucks. Tell him what's in there. Shit. I said, son, I said shit.
I'm trying to look ahead a little bit here. Yeah, because I'm in my run of just movie after movie after movie. That's awful. So, episode 17. Here we go. Back to just us two again. We mentioned in the first half, we didn't quite have the rhythm down of guest, no guest, guest, but we cleaned it up a little bit in the back half here. Mm-hmm. So no guests in this episode. You got an absolute classic, Fist of Fury.
Oh, god damn.
I got an absolute, again, not full on dumpster fire, because I remember from the trivia, it was written by a 14-year-old.
Oh, yes.
I got Havoc, the Anne Hathaway movie in 2005. But again, Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Channing Tatum pretend to be black people while having like the fake gangsta accents is just peak early aughts. Yeah. It's just perfect. Again, him and Step Up, and Coach Carter, Channing Tatum does a very well job of pretending to be black in movies from the early 2000s.
Well, I had hated it, but once you said that about the writer, I was like, no, what she is writing is what the kids in her school were actually like. So when they are stupid, unbelievable douchebags, she wrote them perfectly. And they executed the writing to a T. So like I said, on the front end where I wanted to hate them, I eventually came to the conclusion that no, they are perfectly written characters who are acted impeccably. And I stand by that.
Well, you liked your movie. We never got around to me actually liking or disliking it. Because again, I jumped too much into the trivia about how it was written by the 14-year-old, and how she passed away before the movie actually got made because she was involved in the plane crash.
It was still new. It wasn't on the buttons yet.
We were stiit wasn't necessarily as new. It was 8 episodes that we've been doing likes, but no, it was just me.
That's still new.
It was just me getting too excited about saying like, look, I know this movie sounded awful, but you gotta think about it now. This movie was written by a 14-year-old. Right. And again, it's crazy that it was written by a 14-year-old. It's just I didn't like it. I didn't hit it, but I hit the dislike eventually. Again, it's remarkable that a 14-year-old can write a movie. That's kind of crazy to think about. But it's just it wasn't for me. It's terribly acted in a lot of ways, even though they're supposed to be terrible people. It's just the way they are being terrible people. It doesn't hold up. Again, if Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in that movie, it's not even remotely funny at all. Because Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays the biggest pothead / wannabe black person. That's great. He does that laugh the entire time.
Well, you have to. It's the early 2000s. Yeah. No, but you throwing that in, like I said, totally
it changes it for sure.
I pulled a 180 on it.
It absolutely changes the way you view that movie for sure. Don't get me wrong, because again, a 14-year-old wrote this. It's crazy. It just sucks. Again, she was involved in the accident, and they didn't get to see like her dream essentially of writing a movie.
Right. Because I think she wrote douchebags perfectly. And then they went and executed how to be a douchebag perfectly. I haven't
1000%.
seen it, but the way you describe it, they are perfect douchebags.
And again, one of the things that made the review even funnier is it just happened to come across a Facebook post about that movie the same time I was reviewing that movie. Like what are the odds like that came across before I even watched it? So it made it perfect timing. But we'll move on to episode 18 where we get our first return guest. And this is where we enter again, where Ron was right to be scared of doing a Steven Seagal movie because we went with a theme on this episode.
Yes.
And it took me a while to lock down the theme because, again, it's not a hard thing that I've suggested people to do. Just give me a word, give me a theme, give me an actor, give me whatever you want to do.
Something to put in the fucking search bar. Yeah.
Took me a while, but our next guest, who is a return guest, locked this down finally. And speaking of being locked down, we get locked in a cage, and that cage is with Nick Cage. We enter the cage with none other than Goods, Joe Vegas, back again. So we all watched some Nick Cage movies this episode, and this kind of skewed your algorithm for a little bit because you got Vampire Kiss,
and
that pretty much sent you down a vampire
like a
hole
fucking month of vampire movies. Yeah,
right.
No matter what I did, because I hit dislike on this piece of shit Nick Cage vampire movie, and there's redeeming moments, but yeah, watched it, hit dislike, and just got the fact that I landed on them tells you how many of them on the wheel were vampire movies, because I could have missed them, but there was so many. It took over.
So I got Trespass, a movie about him being a diamond seller, and with Nicole Kidman as his wife. And Joe,
yes.
It's kind of funny, right? So we'll get into this at the very end of the reviews, recaps. Our return guest, we have 2 return guests during this last part of this season. Joe got a movie where Nicolas Cage is in it, but 5-10 minutes in the movie.
Oh, yes.
That's it. And of course, again, you get a Nicolas Cage movie who's one of his favorite actors, by the way. But when one of your favorite actors is not in that movie,
yes,
you guessed it, he hit the dislike button, obviously, because he got Jiu-Jitsu, and it is an awful movie. I saw it, watched it for Cinephobe, and never will ever watch it again. But your review, Ron, at first, and I totally forgot about the second half of your review, made me want to watch this movie. And I forgot about your review until after watching Vampire's Kiss, because you talked me into it.
Don't do that.
So your first half of the review was like, yeah, I need to watch this movie. And I totally blanked out on your second half of the review, where you were just like,
it's so batshit crazy. You're like, oh, I gotta see this. And it's like, no, he talks about having a boner while he's trying to fight off a bat in his apartment. Like, fight off a bat. Was it going to overpower you? It's a fucking...
And it got him horny. The bat got him horny.
And he admits to his therapist that he's got a fucking boner fighting a bat. Like, this ain't right.
Again, speaking of vampires and algorithms, your next movie, let's go to episode 19. Why not? Because in the intro of this movie, or this episode, I, for some reason, am an idiot and said this was our 23rd episode because I was talking about how we did the Michael Jordan Club not too long ago in the Outsiders Club. No.
Yeah, I was wondering about 19. That.
Yeah, it was the 23rd movie I had watched.
Like, no, 23 should be in like December. Yeah.
It was the 23rd movie I had watched, counting your movies as a part of the To Be Determined file for myself. So I was counting my movies plus your movies. So I
That
was
math
a little
checks
off my,
out.
a little off my
Right.
math there.
Okay.
But again, the algorithm, because of the Nicolas Cage movie, made you watch another bikini movie, or not bikini, another vampire movie, Vampire on Bikini Beach. And
yes.
I got Righteous Kill, which going from a Nicolas Cage movie to a Al Pacino / Robert De Niro movie kind of makes sense.
Oh,
So.
right. That's what that was. Okay.
And it's a movie I had seen before, and it took me a very long time in the movie to realize I had seen it.
All right.
And it did have a twist ending that shouldn't have been a twist ending if you just pay attention to the very first line of the movie,
Right.
essentially.
But when they say that, you don't know that information. So it's like you can't know the name of the character in the first 5 seconds. That's not fair.
Right. But it's a movie I liked because, again, you get Robert De Niro and Al Pacino together, bantering back and forth. They can chew up scenery.
Right.
It's amazing.
And
Rob
like you
Dyrdek
said,
dies in it.
they oh, that's right.
Rob Dyrdek's in it and dies. 50 Cent's in the
yeah.
movie as a main player. I'm sorry, Curtis
Oh,
Jackson.
shit.
He was using his actor's name.
50. Yes. He's a fucking thespian.
But I'm to understand you dislike this movie, Ron. You did hit dislike.
Oh God, I'm not sure.
You said disliked.
Did I? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
then
I didn't know if like
because
you
it's
might
one
change
of
your
those-
mind.
That's tough because it is an 80s piece of shit, but I love those. So, like, does it suck? Yes. Is it garbage? Yes. Does that necessarily mean I hit dislike? No. Yeah, I'm honestly kind of surprised that you tell me that. I would have assumed I hit like because it's a piece of shit. And it's shit. Like I said, at the end, they go through, there's like a killing spree where they're opening coffins and killing vampires. And then, like, 1, they kill. 2, they kill. The third one, they open. Hitler? And they kill him. It's like, oh,
No,
just this totally
I remember
out
why
of
you
place
hate. I
Hitler
remember why you
joke.
hate this movie. I remember the review now. You hated it because you wanted them to end on when the girls show their fangs at the end of the movie.
Oh,
Have a scene
yes.
towards
There was
whenever
just
that you-
a totally puzzling ending. After they go through the whole thing with the Hitler, they kill the vampires, they survive the whole thing, and the 4 friends are standing outside, and they're like, well, we should all go home and go to sleep. Okay, see you later. And that's literally how bad the scene's written.
Okay, yeah. I
But
remember
then
now
the two
why you hated it.
the 2 of them walk away, and the other 2 start laughing and show their fangs. Stop right there. Punch out, I'm good. No, the next scene they cut to those 2 who are vampires being strapped down to a bed in some kind of insane asylum with no explanation of how we got from A to B, because our main characters walked away before we even knew they were vampires. And then, the sun's up. So the sun is on them while they're strapped down, but they're not, like, dying or
They're not
bursting
burning.
into flames. So all the vampire rules are broken. Yeah, okay. You know what? Yeah, I did. I fucking fuck you, you piece of shit. I hated that.
Much like another movie that had a quote unquote vampire walking around in the sun, Vampire Kiss. As he's talking to a wall.
Exactly.
And the
Cuner.
yeah.
Cuner.
So let's move on to episode 20. Another guest that I brought on. Another Cinephobiacs member that I had, Hefty. Again, he got the similar algorithm that, and the thing is, like, he doesn't watch a lot of movies, but he does watch TUBI, because again, he likes Cinephobe movies, and he got the movie Friday, which, let's be honest, we all love, and I went with my own theme. I did my own theme this episode, and I went with the theme of sharks. And if you know anything about just typing the word sharks in any kind of algorithm, especially with TUBI, you're going to get
16 fucking options, man.
You're gonna get B level sharks, and I am here for A, B, C, D, E, F level sharks. Give me the shark movies. It's funny to me. I want to see how they do the CGI / computer graphics, and I'm using computer graphics for a reason because I'm not going to put the intelligence part in it. Again, there's definitely scenes where just paint splatter on the wall or on the canvas. So if that's something to make it look like it was blood, it's just clearly paint. So I'm all for those kind of special effects / not so special effects in these movies. So give it to me. I got Mississippi River Sharks, and you got Raw Force, which we all agree sounds like a porno. It's not a porno. And it's another clean sweep for all of us. We all liked our movies.
Yeah.
Again, give me those B-level shark movies. You had what was it? Blue goo from the people in Raw Force.
Oh my God. I had basically a carnival cruise of kung fu karate guys who get hijacked by a bunch of 80s style like thugs. So that means a lot of bandanas and vests. And that all led to an island of monks and zombies. And it was fucking amazing. So good.
You definitely nailed it home for sure. You're like, this movie's awesome.
Oh my God, it's amazing. We've got cannibal monks raising kung fu guys from the dead to something with whores. I don't know. It was fantastic. And I cannot stress enough that you all need to watch this. A guy karate kicks a van, and he kicks it so hard that it like swerves off the road and crashes. Like he just running, jumping, air kicks a van, and the van can't handle the kick. It goes off the road and smash. There's such a powerful fucking jump kick.
Raw Force is still on Tubi, ladies and gentlemen. So if this review again does not make you want to watch this movie, go and do it now.
Yeah, you're fucking stupid then, and I don't got any excuse for you.
I don't know if it ever leaves Tubi. But we're gonna move on to episode 21. We get into our first theme month that we have discovered that we could do or want to do, and that's the spooky season. It's October. Do some horror movies, we thought. And you got, again, a movie that's right up your alley on B-level old horror. You got It's Alive. However, it might not pan out for you.
Yes.
And I got a movie that I love the franchise, love every movie I've seen from it so far. I got Animal Comes Home. So we had two different sides of the spectrum in this movie, or on this episode.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I remember listening to your review, and apparently they are involved in being in a cage while not being in a cage, and
it's
just
the
wandering
most
around a cave.
Stupid, inexplicable bullshit. They walk down into a cave, and the guy literally just takes like a cage and just stands it up in front of them and is like, "Hi, you're in a cage now." And they're like, "Oh, heck, we're caged." And that's where their resistance ends. Like, no, dude, you just watch this fucking hillbilly stand it up, go around and push it right at him. It's not holding you there. Like, you're gonna sit here and die based on that? Well, fuck you, you're stupid. Fuck you, you're stupid, you deserve to die.
It's like
it's such a piece of shit.
Hot Shots by Duh, where he throws the captain the key to get out of the jail cell, and then he can't reach it, so then he steps out of the jail cell to get the key.
And go back in, and then
and even though he could just step out of the
yeah, this feels like a parody that wasn't a parody.
Right.
Like, it's so bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you were any kind of fan of horror, my review for this, again, recap, is it's the part of the Conjuring universe. If you're any fan of horror, watch this universe. You won't be disappointed. There's some jump scares. There's some great storytelling. There's some great acting. And this movie in particular is kind of carried on by, or the movie is carried by teen actors who actually do a really good job. So it's definitely worth your time. But then we can move on to the second part of the spooky season with episode 22, and the movie where I felt left out with not having my Baja blasted with you and Mikey K. And I got Species, kind of a cult classic.
Yeah.
You got a really big cult classic in Toxic Avenger. And
Yes.
Mikey K got the other 40-minute movie that we've had in this podcast, Horror Rock.
So fucking
Which again,
good.
Horror Rock, you might ask, what is that? And Horror Rock is literally just
I did ask.
a collection of music videos, essentially, with horror themes that you all love. You watched this.
I had to watch it. I had to. Once he got it, I messaged him and was like, dude, you want to swap? Because I thought he'd say, oh, fuck yeah, I'll watch Toxic Avenger right now. And then I was like, I'll take Horror Rock, and everybody's happy. And he's like, I'm like, no, fuck you, I'm gonna watch it anyway. And I did, and it was worth it. It's such a piece of shit.
But I think he hit like though, because you guys enjoyed it, because of what it is.
I think I did like it. I did.
For what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we've definitely talked about gratuitous as being a thing that we do in this podcast. You know what I mean? And Species is a glaring example of that, because there's like just scenes of this. Lily will put her with her top on, and then they
classic because of that.
Yeah. And as I was listening to the review, I was like, oh man,
that's why that movie got made.
I really like this movie, and then I fooled myself, and then realized I hit disliked. Because again, all the benefit or all the like lore of this movie is it's got a hot blonde who takes her top off. Like that's the lore of this movie, and it wasn't worth it. We are getting into the last two episodes. I'm still in spooky season mode on this episode 23. You are in peak. This is in your wheelhouse at the end of this, because you've talked about this movie. It's been on your wheel for almost all of our episodes. It's been on and off TUBI. It was off TUBI when you went to go watch this. It's back on again, and that's Yellowbeard.
Like 7 times.
And again, I'm in the spooky season mindset still in my algorithm, which makes sense because I watch a lot of horror movies on TUBI at that time, because I do watch a horror movie every month of the month of October. So I watch a few more than just Species and Annabelle Comes Home. So I got a house, which really wasn't a horror movie, more of a comedy. And the reason why it's more of a comedy is because it stars none other than Norm from Cheers.
Norm!
Future on, just clip in all Norm's entrances from Cheers. Yeah, it's definitely more of a comedy. I had a lot of fun watching this movie because, again, it's Norm. We found out that if we ever do a neighbors bracket, would be in the top neighbors bracket, or in the neighbors bracket, because he brings as a midnight snack to his new neighbor Chinese food and Miller High Life.
Pretty sweet.
He calls his ex-wife because he's concerned about his neighbor, like one of the best neighbors ever. So if we ever do a neighbors bracket again, I'm gonna make sure to submit Norm from House, not Norm from Cheers.
Norm, fuck yeah.
But we both liked our movies because you got Yellowbeard, a classic, Monty Python, pretty much a like a Jace movie. It's got both Cheech.
Graham Chapman, man.
It's got both Cheech and Chong, right? Or just Chong?
Yes. Yep. No, both of them.
Both of them. That's right. Yeah. It's on my list again of movies you want me that you have made me want to watch.
You have to see it.
I love the Monty Python crew. So that being said,
Marty Feldman, Peter Boyle, Eric Idle, Madeline Kahn. If you don't watch
Flames,
it just for me
flames.
saying that, and if you don't watch that movie based on that alone, well, fuck you.
So we're gonna get to our last episode. Just aired a couple weeks ago. And I've already played this before, even though it wasn't a return. But guess what? It's a full-on return this time because it is the return of Yikes coming back on the podcast.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yikes! 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 Yikes!
So again, I mentioned earlier about how our return guest had a theme they wanted to do. Goods wanted to do a theme of Nick Cage. His movie had the very littlest amount of Nick Cage possible for a Nick Cage movie. And again, I asked Yikes to think of a word, think of a theme, think of an actor.
Anything.
And he couldn't think of anything. And he came up with the most random thing ever because he was talking about Monk, the show. So he came up with the name Tony Shalhoub. And he got a movie with no Tony Shalhoub.
None. Absolutely none.
Besides Dirty Tony Shalhoub, who's
zero
short.
Shalhoub. Essentially Shalhoubless.
He got the movie Payback. With Mel Gibson, not Tony Shalhoub.
Right. He's nowhere in there.
And I got what I thought was an old Artie Lang movie, but actually turned out to be a newer-ish, again, 18-year-old movie.
DVD times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was VHS times, but I was wrong.
Not. And you got a movie that, again, was on TUBI, off TUBI, reviewed it, back on TUBI.
Yes.
You got Holy Moses.
I did.
And I definitely dislike, even though there were some good jokes. It's very a problematic movie. One of the most problematic movies we did was my movie. A lot of homophobia, a lot of Italian stereotypes being dropped there. But a dislike of mine. Yikes never gave a ranking of liked or disliked.
I didn't push him. I should have been.
He
better.
seemed neutral on it. He went a little philosophical towards the end of the podcast about wanting to be a hero, not having a hero. So
Right.
considering there was no, since there was no hero in this movie, I'm gonna go if he disliked this movie.
I'm gonna, you know what? Yeah.
And you got a good one to finish this podcast off. You got Richard Pryor and a guest
I
bit.
did. Yeah.
Um,
Clearly, after following Yellowbeard, I love a fucking ensemble cast, and this is that. Just up and down. Again, Madeline Kahn. That's all you have to say to fucking sell me, because I will. You know what? I don't care. You will not shame me about my love for Madeline Kahn. Not even slightly. Lorraine Newman fucking slays this movie.
Hello.
Didn't like Dudley Moore. Kind of do now. Definitely worth checking out.
Again, those two are now on my list of movies to watch that you reviewed. Yellowbeard definitely on the top, but I need to be in a space where I can sit down and watch it, not just have it passively.
A couple of gummies. You got to make sure you're sitting and catching every little fucking thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Goes
Like
by.
I know there's bits there that will miss if I'm not sitting down watching it. So.
Yeah. And there's
Probably
also obvious shit, like they nail a dude's foot to the deck of the boat at one point. Like I said, when I was 5 and watching this, those jokes landed. So there was things that even as a 5-year-old, I was like, ha, I get it. It's nail and he's still there. There's a storm and he's fucking stuck to the deck. He's still out there. But it's, yeah, definitely.
Again, screen time wrapped / whatever they want to say it is. It's not really an actual wrapped. For the part 2 of season 1, I did not watch as many movies as season or first part of season. I only watched 14 movies.
Okay.
Versus the 17. Again, you watched the 7. Or actually, Ron, you watched 13. I forgot about that. Sorry, because you watched Horror Rock.
Yes. Yes, I did. I sure fucking did.
So let's change that real quick. I already know that number. It's 40 minutes.
Hell yeah.
All right. So, grand total of 14 movies watched for me, 13 for you, and we only had 6 guests because again we had the actual cadence down of guests. No guests.
We lost that last month in December with this glorious series.
Yes. So you had I had 14 movies, which is 1,324 minutes watched on the second half of the season, which is just about 22 hours. You had, sir, 1,152 minutes, which is just over 19 hours watched. And then our guest had 543 minutes with just over 9 hours watched. And then so again, this is where my algorithm really took a dive. As you guys would like to recall, collect, that I was 10 of 17 in the first half of the season.
Yes.
I went Justin Tucker here and went 5 of 14.
Oh, shit. Wide left.
So again, if you're keeping track at home, that is a 15 for 31 clip on the season.
Okay,
just shy of 50% at 48% of the movies liked.
And I think 50 is our metric, right? You got to say, 50% seems to be where I'd measure.
And Ron, you went 7 of 12 in the back half of the season.
Yeah. That is over 50. I will take that.
And then you went 8 of 12 in the first half. Makes you 15 of 24 for a clip of 62.5% like.
Yes, and that is why you leave those Steven Seagal movies off your wheel. Because if they're not on the wheel, you can't land on them.
And again, the guests have it the best. Oh, second best now. I forgot about your 7th like here. I forgot about Horror Rock.
Nailed it.
Sorry. The guests, though, in the second half of the season went 4 of 6. So 67%.
Yeah. All right.
The second half. For a grand total of 8 of 13. We had 13 guests for 62% like rate. So if we're keeping score officially, I am really, really far behind the 14% down everyone else of being liked movies.
Yeah, you're getting fucked.
However, I am kicking your all asses in total minutes watched because I watched a total of 2,931 minutes, almost 49 hours. So 2 days of my life this year have been spent watching TUBI movies for this podcast.
Wow.
And that's just for this podcast. I will get into a little teaser here. I will get more into that in another episode coming soon. Ron, you spent 2,268 minutes, just about 38 hours of your life this year watching TUBI movies. And our guest,
Day and a half.
Thank you, guest.
Thank you for being a guest. Coming on a pod and chipping in.
Guest, I want to thank you for spending 1,238 minutes of your time to watch some movies with us. Almost 21 hours, almost a full day of your collective time of watching a movie for TUBI has determined for you. Again, that is a lot of hours, a lot of minutes, a lot of movies we have watched in the first season of this podcast. A lot of laughs for me, a lot of dislikes for you guys, apparently a lot more likes.
And the show description says thank you for being a guest.
And we will do some fun stuff coming up in season 2 for sure.
Yeah.
We've talked about the idea of having a bingo card. I think that adds a lot of fun elements to the episode.
Definitely.
Of seeing if we can get a bingo. because we don't necessarily know what it's going to be on the movie review of the next person unless
I'm
we
gonna hit them
see the
80s.
movie.
Those 80s bingos are mine.
I've thought about, again, you get, just because we know there's an 80s movie that you might have had, we might not know exactly what 80s trope will be in play in this
That's
movie.
true.
So it
That's
will
true.
add to the element of the review. But we can almost guarantee Purple Alert will be played on these episodes.
It's true.
Now, Ron, I do have
Shocking.
a suggestion. I have noticed when you go to Explore on the Explorer or the part of the app, there is an actual section for TUBI picks. So,
Oh,
I don't know what Beyond the Scoreboard is, but that's an option right now on TUBI picks. Featured,
Okay.
most popular, staff picks. I don't know who Noah Beck is. I should know who this is, but that's
No,
the
I
star
don't.
pick right now is Noah Beck. So, unlike
okay.
Yikes getting Tony Shalhoub and not getting Tony Shalhoub, I'm gonna go with these picks actually have Noah Beck in it.
I'm gonna hope, yeah.
Get Feliz Navidad as a category right now during this time of year.
Shit, hell yeah.
Holiday hits. So there's a lot of different Tubi originals recently added. There's a lot of trending on social, but I think that'd be a great option for us to explore. To kind of like branch out a little bit just from our normal algorithm. They also have collections. So one of the our collections is Cult Classics, which is right up your alley, Ron.
Oh, for sure. I go through that all the time.
Goats, Nerve, and Excellence for the Culture. I don't know what that is. Based on a book, gangster film, Bollywood Dreams. Maybe we don't do all of them, obviously, but it's something we can explore going into next season. We've kind of talked about the idea of possibly venturing into TV shows. I don't know how we can possibly go about doing that because we do get a lot of recommendations for TV shows.
Yeah,
it
would take a lot of hours to do it right. 44 episodes of the Three Stooges, I could get you one review. It's just
yuck.
labor intensive.
But there's options, and it's something we can venture into. It's something to think about going forward. But I think that's going to be a good wrap for us on season 1.
Yeah,
where we need to end this. But again, there's stuff to look forward to for season 2. We had a lot of laughs season 1. It's a great start to where this can go. And I look forward to season 2. Whether we do straight from the Wheel of Misfortune or we go with these staff picks of Noah Beck, who doesn't exist in any of these things.
I drank 13 Blatz.
Oh man,
You're listening to To Be Determined on the Half-Ass Podcast Network.